All right, here we are working on the Traeger grill. This is the Traeger XL. We got 2 Boston butts. They're about 8.3 pounds a piece going on tonight. And then tomorrow morning around 7 a.m., we're gonna add 3 4 to 5 pound briskets. Those will go on the top shelf up here. We're starting out with a Heath Riles honey rub and a Heath Riles sweet barbecue rub. We took care of doing that all over. You see we're starting to get some of the shiny liquid on the outside of it. We'll cook this for about an hour, and then we will spray some apple juice on it every hour for the first 3 hours. This thing will kick up to 100 or 200 degrees. We'll smoke it all night after that for 12 hours, then we'll bump it up to 225 degrees. So I'll show you the further information tomorrow. All right, it's time to do the first spraying of the apple juice. We're gonna do this every hour on the hour for the first 3 hours. We're just gonna spray them down to keep some moisture in them. The sugar gets absorbed. Pardon me, the dogs are barking at something on the backyard. The sugar gets absorbed in and increases the flavor. It's really nice on top of the rub too, gives that sweet and savory feeling. So we're gonna spray these right now. We're gonna do this every hour, and then we're gonna let it sit overnight for 9 hours straight. Okay, so we've been cooking for 3 hours so far. We've been spraying apple juice every hour on the hour. Now it's time to transfer the butts to the pan. We're doing this so that we don't lose all of the juices. If we keep cooking it on the grill, it's gonna be way too dry. So we're transferring it to the pan in order to be able to spray on all sides. I did add a little extra rub about an hour ago on the top side of the fat cap. So we're spraying these, getting them nice and sprayed down. You see some of these parts are getting golden brown again. So we got that one all set. We'll spray this one a little bit, get a little bit more moisture in it. And these are now getting ready to go for about 4.5 to 5 hours straight. It's about 10 o'clock at night. I'll probably get up sometime around 3 a.m. to spray these again just to keep the moisture in them. But now these pans will start to we'll start to gather all of the liquid and the juices from the cooking. And I did do some slices in the top and the bottom so that those juices are absorbed into the bottom of these. So we'll be back probably about 7 a.m. tomorrow morning to check these out. I'm not gonna wake my wife up and make her film me at 3 o'clock in the morning. So, all right, we'll see you in a little bit. All right, so it's about 7:45, 8 o'clock on the next morning here. You can see we've got our butts are doing really well. We're gonna check temperature here. If you remember, I put these in the pans. You can see how much juice has come out of these things. We're gonna put our thermostat in here, see where we are. We wanna get these up to about 208 degrees. You can see we're getting close on this one. It's just about ready. And then we got this one, let's see, don't wanna touch the bone with the thermometer here. Hold on a minute. There we go. And this one's also in the same range. So these have probably got about 45 minutes left on them. So we're gonna keep those on there for a little bit more. And while we're finishing up these for the next few minutes, we're gonna show you how we prep our brisket. Okay, it's time to prep our butts. You can see here we got a nice slab of meat here. These are from a friend of ours and their farm. It's all organic. We're gonna prep the fat cap here on this one so that we can make sure we get our rub inside there, just doing a checkerboard pattern. It does not have to be deep. It's nice and simple. We're gonna do a couple of different rubs here. We've got Gospel Barbecue Rub from Meat Church. So we're gonna start with that. We're gonna be very liberal with it. Put it all over the fat cap here. Flip it over. Get both sides. That's a pretty piece of meat. The brisket's going to be a little bit more dense than the pulled pork is. All right. The second one we're going to use is Meat Church Holy Cow. Always cute names. We get all of our rubs and stuff from B&W Hardware in Wake Forest, North Carolina. Shameless plug for Joe and Tim. By the way, these meat rubs were recommended by Tim Dean. Today we're trying a little bit new rub combination. So we're going to do those. Flip that sucker back over. Again, being very liberal with the rub. Some of it's going to come off when you move it around and stuff like that. Go ahead and pat it in Rub it down there. Smack it up, flip it, rub it down for you Belle Vive DeVoe fans. And we open up the grill. We're gonna put this one on the second level right there. And that's probably gonna go for somewhere in the ballpark of probably 5 to 6 hours. We'll keep you posted. All right, it's time to take our Boston butts off of the grill. We're gonna pull them out in their hands. Lay them down like so. Close this one back, keep everything else cooking. We're gonna cover them for about an hour with aluminum foil. Give the juices and the blood time to distribute back through. And then we will come back and pull it a little bit later. This is real simple. You just close this in around, let the natural heat continue to do the final cooking. We're pulling these off at about 207, 208 degrees. That allows the ligaments to let go of the bone. And when it's time to pull the bone out of this, you'll see when we pull it later that we'll actually just pull the bone out of the center of the pork butt. So these are ready to go, and we're going to continue cooking our briskets. So it's time to take the pork and begin to pull it. It's been cooling for about an hour. I say it's been cooling. It's been redistributing the juices for about an hour. So we're going to move this thing to my pulling pan to get it out of all the juices. And you can see it's just literally, well, it's literally falling apart as we move this, and it's really hot. Yeah! It is literally falling. When we say fall off the bone, there you go. That's what doing this and slow cooking for such a long time will do. All right, let me see if this is gonna work. I may need my... I'm gonna make a mess here, so the wife will be upset, but she'll know it. She's filming, so it's okay.
As long as you clean it.
There you go. All right, so we're gonna take all of the juices and we're gonna come over here. Now, you don't pour the grease down the drain. That causes damage not only to the drain, but to the environment as it goes through. So I put a little piece of aluminum foil down here. I form a pocket where the drain is. This will harden up and we'll throw it all into the garbage can when we're finished. So we'll be back in just a minute to pull some pork. All right, so remember when I told you we get it up to about 207 or 8 degrees? Notice there's the bone. It literally just falls right off of the bone, and that's what makes this recipe so good. And then to pull the pork, we just take, these are a couple regular table forks here. This is nothing special. And you can see how easily it pulls apart. And you see some of the red finish from the rub right there. And then there's got a nice smoke ring right there around the outside of the pulled pork itself. Got some bark on it that's really good. So this will be, we'll be packaging this up. We'll be able to eat off of this for probably a week and a half, 2 weeks. So we'll be back a little bit later to show you the finished product with the briskets. All right, so here is the finished product of the pulled pork. You can see you've got some pieces right there. Nice little red on the end of it. Nice pieces. We got some bark on here for those of you that like the burn-in type of taste. So we've got probably about 15, maybe 16 pounds of beef right here. And we'll meal package this or meal prep it so that we've got some, serve them up in single serving containers. So we'll be back to show you the briskets a little bit later. Here we go, folks. It's time to check out the briskets. We've got a couple of them that are ready from temperature wise. I get these up to between 190 and 195 degrees. We're gonna get this one right here and we're gonna get this one right here. So we're gonna start one at a time. Just gonna pull the briskets off, put it onto the aluminum foil. We're gonna wrap these for about a half an hour just to give them time to kind of settle. Now I wrap them fairly tightly. It's just how I was taught to do it when I learned. And we're gonna wrap this sucker up, let it sit for about 30 minutes, and then when we cut it, we'll cut it against the grain, and I'll show you that here in just a few when it's time to cut all of these. So now it's time to actually cut the brisket. So we'll pull out our carving knife, and we'll turn this thing around so that you can see the cut side. We're going to cut against the grain. I always try to make an angled cut here. So we're going to get my grip on it here. We'll start with this piece right here. You can see the interior of it. This is the smoke ring on the outside, and you can see this is a little bit more dense piece of meat. So we're going to continue to cut against the grain in about pencil width size slices. Just give you a sample here. Look at that piece right there. You can see the smoke ring right there. So we'll show you a shot of this brisket when it's all finished, and we'll get to cutting here in just a moment.